let me use my spiritual weapon and blow a hole in this present darkness that surrounds us and bind the prince of the power of the airwaves so that my message may be heard. Hello, I'm Rob Scholl, and you're watching The Notary Report. First, let us approach the Father and ask for His blessing on this teaching. Father, author of the Heavenly Scroll, holy is your name, Yahuwah. Father, we give you all praise and glory and honor. Father, I ask your blessing and give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as I convey this message and give the people the ears to hear and the eyes to see. We ask this in honor of our King Yahusha. Hallelujah. If the age of Aquarius is the age of peace and Yahuwah's righteousness is to reign under King Yahusha and his laws obeyed, then why are men calling themselves women? Why are women calling themselves men? We can't even define what a woman is anymore. We have men and women's sports and women's dressing rooms and women's bathrooms. We have drag queens performing lewd, basically strip-tease dances in front of little children in our public schools and libraries. Gender is no longer a male and female binary. It is now fluid and really no longer even exists in the eyes of the liberal left. We have progressive teachers indoctrinating our children to hate the United States. We are transgendering minors without parental consent, letting little children make medical decisions that will impact the rest of their lives. This new generation is not only throwing off their natural biology, but proven traditions of established society. We have judges rewriting our Constitution. We are witnessing the slaughter of millions of unborn children while we complain about low birth rights in this nation. We have progressive DAs favoring criminals over their victims. We're defunding the police and incentivizing crime. We watch in horror as our cities implode under the weight of filth, crime, and homelessness and lawlessness. The media is twisting the truth into a constant stream of sensational lies. Our government agencies are weaponized and used to interfere in elections and go after political enemies with no consequences. Our parents and just regular citizens are now classified as terrorists, and the list goes on and on. Up is down, down is up. The truth is a lie. We're in the throes of World War III with Russia and Ukraine and with China and Taiwan. This country is on the verge of a civil war. Is this the age of Aquarius that we were promised in scriptures? An age of peace. Basically, the question is, when and how do we know that we are in the age of Aquarius? Are we currently in the age of Aquarius? Are we still in the age of Pisces? Are we on the cusp between the two ages? First, let's establish what an age is. I'm going to read here from Wikipedia under astrological age. Quote, an astrological age is a time period in astrological theory which astrologers say parallels major changes in the development of Earth's inhabitants, particularly related to culture, society, and politics. There are 12 astrological ages corresponding to the 12 zodiac signs in Western astrology. Some astrologers believe that during a given age, some events are directly caused or indirectly influenced by the astrological sign associated with that age. Astrologers do not agree upon exact dates for the beginning or the end of the ages, with given dates varying by hundreds of years. Okay, so that's the common definition of what an age is. But the Heavenly Scroll is the key. Yahuwah is clear in determining the timing and the meaning of his own plan of salvation. As we read the book of Enoch, Genesis, and the book of Jubilees, the earth and creation as a whole is in a fallen state. The earth is off its axis. We are not to use the earth or the moon in our calculation of his plan. We are to use the heavenly scroll, basically the sun, to measure days, feasts, and ages. The sun gives us the duration of a day, the timing of the ages, and the timing of months or feasts, and the duration of years. The stars give meaning to the constellations, which lay out the plan of salvation as a scroll called the heavenly scroll. So the sun is for timing, and the meaning of the constellations lays out the plan. It gives meaning as the sun traverses through them. The stars are for eons or ages. So using Yahuwah's own declaration, we are to use the sun's location to give us both the timing of the ages and to get the Sabbath covenant, which is the plan for man, made up of three 2,000-year ages and a half age of the age of Aquarius. We are also to use the sun as it passes through the constellations, which give it meaning to understand the plan of salvation. We read in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. And Yahuwah said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to distinguish between the day and the night, and let them be for signs," or constellations, "to mark the appointed times and calculate ages and years. And let them serve as lights in the expanse of the heavenly scroll to shine upon the earth." Now above is my translation of that portion of Genesis. In most Bibles, instead of ages, we read the word days. Yahuwah had already covered the concept of days in the first part of verse 14 when he said, quote, "to distinguish between the day and the night." And then it says "and," or as in "and also," it continues. And it says "day" again. Was Yahuwah repeating himself? No, the word used for days is the Hebrew word Strong's 3117, which also means ages. So basically, Yahuwah said, let them be for distinguish between the day and the night in the first part, and then also ages, years, and months, or feasts. So Yahuwah declares the sun is for days and also to measure ages. So again, we are led astray by the lying pen of the scribe to hide the fact that the sun determines the ages. The progression of the equinoxes using the Earth's fallen state is not to determine the ages in the heavenly scroll. This throws off the ages like the moon throws off the appointed time. It is the sun that provides the timing whereby we determine the age. Going by the progression of the equinoxes, we are nowhere near the age of Aquarius, as ages are defined to be 2,156 years, not 2,000 years. The Bible has been given no voice in the calculation of the ages, yet they are central to Yahuwah's plan of salvation as he authored the heavenly scroll. However, not every expert agrees with using the progression of the equinoxes. Definitive details on the astrological ages are lacking, and consequently, most details available about the astrological ages are in dispute. The 20th century British astrologer Charles Carter stated that, quote, "It is probable that there is no branch of astrology upon which more nonsense has been poured forth than the doctrine of the precession of the equinoxes." Neil Spencer, in his book, True as the Stars Above, expressed a similar opinion about the astrological ages. Spencer characterized the concept as being fuzzy, speculative, and the least defined area of astrology. It is understood by most that to be impossible to state the exact date for the start of any astrological age, and acknowledge that many astrologers believe the age of Aquarius has arrived, while many say the world is at the end of the age of Pisces. Ray Grassi states in Signs of the Times that there is considerable dispute over the exact starting and ending times for different great ages. Paul Wright, in the Great Ages and Other Astrological Cycles, says that much of the uncertainty related to the astrological ages is because many astrologers have a poor understanding of the meaning of the age, the symbolism, and, quote, even poor historical knowledge, end quote. What does he mean by poor historical knowledge? You see, as one age progresses into the next, it is called a cusp. Events on Earth are influenced and therefore give a clear understanding of when the ages change. A good understanding and knowledge of history can help us determine when an age begins and ends. I'll explain this in this video that the signs and the times associated with the transition of Pisces to Aquarius are underway, and we can better understand and evaluate not only the current age but the transition between the two, Pisces and Aquarius. We read on the website www.star-registration.com that the constellation Aquarius, which lies in the ecliptic plane or the path of the sun, and it is also known for the astrological sign of Aquarius. Each year at the same time, the sun passes through the constellation of Aquarius, and in today's time, this is between February 16th and March 21st. The astrological ages are determined by what constellation the sun is located in at the start of spring, which begins the new year. Mainstream astrology, using the equinox to determine the new year based on the precession of the equinoxes. This is not how you determine the new age each year. It's when you look up when the new year begins between February 16th and March 21st to see what constellation the sun is in. That's what gives you the current age in the heavenly scroll, and currently that is Aquarius. So currently the sun is entering the constellation Aquarius and has been since the age transition, which I call the sign of the Son of Man. This occurred in 2017, fulfilling Revelation chapter 12. Since that time, we have been in the transition of the ages, or the cusp, between Pisces to Aquarius. But how do we know for sure? Is there any concurrent signs on Earth to confirm the ages are in this transition? That's what we'll look at today. Is the age of Aquarius the age of peace, as the Bible states, or chaos? Consider what has been going on the past few years. We're seeing a breakdown of everything to do with traditions and established authority. Our youth have no direction. They seek to destroy the foundation of our society while lacking the desire to contribute in any meaningful way outside of pushing the good of small groups like LGBTQ, whatever plus, at the expense of the individual rights of the masses. Progressives in the society push the sovereignty of the individual and their rights and ability to decide for themselves such things as gender, based solely on their feelings alone, regardless of what gender they were born into. Very small groups are being pushed on the society at large. This is just one of the many examples of the rights of the small group taking priority over the rights of the masses. This chaos is a hallmark sign of the transition from Pisces to Aquarius. The Farmer's Almanac at almanac.com, under the title, What is the Age of Aquarius?, explains, quote, first, let's take a look back at the age of Pisces to see the major challenges that have been a part of our reality for the past 2,000 years. Over the age of Pisces, there was a battle between the values of faith, belief, religion, intuition, that's all Pisces stuff, versus science, proof, logic, and hierarchy, that's the stuff of the opposing sign of Virgo. Still quoting, now we are shifting into Aquarius. Aquarius has to do with the good of the group, personal detachment, and concerns for the eclectic, quote, whole. However, its opposite, Leo, believes in the individual's sovereignty, passionate feelings, and ability to decide for oneself the appropriate course of action. We are definitely seeing this dichotomy beginning to play out in our current reality. The trick is to acknowledge both sides and avoid an all-out battle between them, which may have to occur during the transition to Aquarius. End quote. We face today the most complete example of ignoring personal sovereignty in favor of government controlling our lives. We call this communism, which is actively being pushed and pursued in the United States. While at the same time, the absolute ability to do just whatever you wish based on nothing more than feelings and ignoring all who disagree. Think of cancel culture, the attacks on Supreme Court justices, school shootings, political correctness, wokeism, rewriting American history, race politics, toxic masculinity, attacks on the fathers in the homes, attacks on the very meaning of what it means to be a woman. We see the liberal progressives push both sides simultaneously, dividing our country currently based on race wars, gender wars, wars against the police, religion, etc., all while pushing the individual rights of people to kill babies, commit crimes, enter our country illegally, and change their natural gender by simply identifying as anything they want, including inanimate objects and animals. They are rewriting our past, indoctrinating our children, dividing our children along racial lines, trying to destroy the straight white male, and force society to accept that which is absurd and an obviously a lie, all while destroying the foundations upon which this country was built. A willingness to create a more perfect society should not be confused with a blind vision of, quote, everything is as I perceive it, while being triggered by words which have become violence, while real violence is justified against all who disagree, as those who do stand against this insanity are labeled white supremacists or terrorists. Anarchy and chaos is the result. Remember, the creed of Satanism is, if it feels good, do it. There is no right or wrong, only personal desire. George Friedman is an internationally recognized geopolitical forecaster and strategist on the international affairs and the founder and chairman of Geopolitical Futures. Dr. Friedman is also a New York Times bestselling author. His most recent book, The Storm Before the Calm, America's Discord. He's also written The Coming Crisis of the 2020s. He's written The Triumph Beyond, published on February 25th, 2020. He describes how, quote, the United States periodically reaches a point of crisis in which it appears to be at war with itself. Yet after an extended period, it reinvents itself in a form both faithful to its founding and radically different from what it had been, end quote. The decade of the 2020 to 2030 is such a period which will bring dramatic upheaval and reshaping of American government, foreign policy, economics, and culture. So hang on to your hats as we drift into this new age of Aquarius. Remember, balance is key. We can find a way for caring for the earth and all of her inhabitants without sacrificing personal liberties. Be wary of those who espouse that one size fits all and always ask, who benefits? The answer boils down to politics, votes, and money. Corruption is rampant and the U.S. has lost its way. And as the U.S. goes, so goes the rest of the world. And always remember that at the end of the age of Pisces, the beginning of the age of Aquarius, during the cusp, is when the curse upon the earth is at hand, and it's going to get progressively worse, leading to the return of the king to establish his kingdom out of the ashes of our current society. We read this in Isaiah chapter 24. Isaiah 24, Judgment on the Earth, verse 1. Behold, Yahuwah lays the earth waste, devastates it, distorts its surface, and scatters its inhabitants. And the people will be like the priest, and the servant like his master, the maid like her mistress, and the buyer like the seller. The lender will be like the borrower, the creditor like the debtor. In other words, everybody will be reduced to the same level. Verse 3, the earth will be completely laid waste and completely despoiled, for Yahuwah has spoken this word. The earth mourns and withers, the world fades and withers, the exalted of the earth fade away. The earth is also polluted by its inhabitants, for they have transgressed his laws, violated his statutes, and broken the everlasting covenant of the Sabbath. Verse 6, therefore a curse devours the earth, and those who live in it are held guilty. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and very few men are left. What we have to keep in mind is that the ages do not turn specifically on a day or even a short period of time. The turn of the ages is what is known as the wave theory of the shifting great ages. The wave theory suggests that the age of Aquarius will not arrive on a given date, but is instead emerging in influence over many years. Similar to how the ocean tide surges forward and incrementally, it doesn't just crash in at once. The age turns as the sun moves across the cusp of the ages, as one age eventually dies and the other is established. And that's where the period of time we're in now. We're in the cusp, the transition from Pisces to Aquarius. And everything that's going on in the world is meant to be. As crazy as it sounds and as opposite to Yahuwah's will and word as it may look to appear. This is what happens during the transition of the ages, and it's all signs of the times that we are right on time, and the ages are 2,000 years in length, based on the timing of the sun and the constellations during the spring, not the precession of the equinoxes. This has been Rob Shaw. Hope you've enjoyed the Note Report. I love all of you and thank all of you for your support. Hallelujah.